Then one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters." But the angel said to me, "Why did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits." Then he said to me, "The waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. And the woman who you saw is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth." Where is the great harlot seated? On many waters, yet we're told that it's the beast that carries her. This is because the beast rises out of the many waters, that is, out of the peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues, or all nations. This is not a one-time event, but a continual rising from generation to generation. Where the waters denote people from all nations, the beast signifies the carnal nature that is common among all of us. This is what is meant by the word rising with both the first and second beasts. Rising means to ascend out of pride, which is a common attribute of the carnal essence that is easily identified in every culture across the world. So it is that Jesus taught self-denial. To deny the self is to challenge this pride. Babylon's position on the beast equates to being on the 7 heads or mountains. Who or what are these 7 heads or mountains? Please consider. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. There are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come, and when he does come, he must remain only a little while. Here the 7 heads of the beast are identified as 7 mountains and kings. Mountains denote power, while kings denote the authority behind this power. 7 doesn't mean there are 7 different kings, but one king that is 7-fold in nature. Since the beast refers to the carnal nature, then the head should align with this perspective, and they do. Reconsider the following from part 13 in this series. These 6 things the Lord hates. Yes, 7 are an abomination to him. A proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift in running to evil, a false witness who speaks lies, and one who sows discord among brethren. Though we have 7 things to consider, they are all rooted in a proud look, agreeing with the 7 heads or mountains, and the rising of the beast of the sea and earth. And the final result? One who sows discord among brethren. This is what the Lord calls an abomination. Might this explain what is meant by Babylon being the mother of the abominations of the earth? First male, then female. First, sowing the seed of division in the woman, then the woman birthing the result of the seed. Pride begets pride. 7 kings, which are but one king with 7 characteristics. Might this be why Babylon declares, "I sit as queen, and am no widow"? Since Babylon female is queen, then the 7-fold king is the king of Babylon. This agrees with Isaiah chapter 14, as well as Job chapter 41. Note how chapter 41 ends in Job. He beholds every high thing. He is king over all the children of pride. Now look once more at the following. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is seated. There are also 7 kings, 5 of whom have fallen. One is, the other has not yet come. And when he does come, he must remain only a little while. 5 of whom have fallen. In Proverbs 6, the first 5 components describe the whole person, from head to foot. One is, correlates with a false witness who speaks lies. And the other has not yet come. This is the 7th or fullness of the other 6, the manifestation of pride which is sowing discord. Pride begets pride. The beast denotes the carnal nature, while its 7 heads typify the carnal mind. Of course, all of this is abstract and figurative, denoting those things characteristic of the inward first, followed by the outward. Because of this, it transcends all cultural boundaries. For this reason, self-denial, or the message of the cross, is applicable to every soul, not just Christian believers. Self-denial is universal. Next, we are told that the woman, or Babylon, reigns over the kings of the earth. To put it plainly, this means that God's law oversees our sowing to the flesh at all points and times. This is why Paul states that God is not mocked, and that whatever one sows, that will they also reap. Now let's take a moment to consider the following. Come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication. When we recognize that the kings of the earth denote the inward essence of the inordinate love of the self, then the phrase inhabitants of the earth represents those who embrace and worship this pride. The fact that they are made drunk with the wine of her fornication typifies the confusion resulting from the lack of love, exemplified by the tree of life, as opposed to the tree of knowledge. Remember, the law in the hands of the carnal man is bondage, for he will use it as a means to accuse in order to justify his own spiritual lack. But with the spiritual man, this knowledge has evolved into charity or agape love. If you are familiar with my studies, you know that I focus a lot on pride, which I define as the inordinate or excessive love of the self. Why? Because this is the root of the problem. How do we know? Because the message of the cross denotes the principle of self-denial, which Jesus taught in Matthew 16:24 through 27. What other message is more important than that? Remember, Babylon's origin is found in the Genesis parable, where we first resisted the commandment of God and desired to be as gods, knowing good and evil, while the story of the city and Tower of Babel illustrates the power of one to many and shows how pride succeeds in building collectives. Every collective established in pride carries its own seed of destruction within. Jesus taught that we should love God with our whole being and our neighbor as ourselves. He also said, on these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. That pretty much settles it, doesn't it? This is why I have stated in other studies that love must defeat love. In other words, our love for God and others must be equal to, or greater than, our love for the self. We cannot accomplish this apart from the Spirit of God, for that is what empowers us to overcome. I will close with the following. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud.